The earth here is not quiet. It breathes in the far reaches of the North Pacific, where tectonic plates collide in slow violence beneath a steel-gray ocean. A peninsula rises like a scar from the planet's surface. This is Kamchatka, the real Kamchatka. The one almost no one sees, a land born of collision. The Pacific plate dives beneath Eurasia, melting into magma, rising again as fire. Along this fracture, more than 300 volcanoes stand. Nearly 30 are active. They are perfect cones, symmetrical and immense, rising from tundra plains. In early light, Klusevskaya, Sopka towers above the clouds. Smoke drifts from its summit. The ground trembles. The volcano is not dormant. It is tinking. Snow falls here in silence that feels eternal. Yet, beneath that snow, rivers of heat move through rock. Lava cools into black rivers of stone. Glaciers descend from smoking craters. Fire and ice exist not as opposites, but as neighbors. The air smells faintly of sulfur. Steam vents hiss from the valley floors. Entire hillsides exhale warmth into air that freezes exposed skin in minutes. In winter, temperatures plunge far below -30 degrees Celsius. In summer, the tundra blooms with sudden life, wildflowers erupting from soil. This place is both merciless and astonishingly alive. No highways cut across this interior. No fences divide the valleys. There are no signs warning of danger, though danger is everywhere. The ground can collapse without warning into boiling mud pots. Geysers erupt unpredictably, launching columns of scalding water into the air. Lava fields remain warm decades after eruption, radiating ghost heat into Arctic winds. The Valley of Geysers hides within a vast volcanic caldera, one of the largest geothermal fields on Earth. Steam columns rise like offerings to the sky. Mineral terraces glow in unnatural colors. Orange, green, sulfur yellow. It feels extraterrestrial. Yet life thrives here. In the river valleys, brown bears gather in numbers almost unmatched anywhere else on the planet. Massive, muscular, solitary. They emerge from forests that stretch unbroken to the horizon in latte summer salmon surge. Upstream in silver torrents, returning from the Pacific to the very rivers where they were born. The bears wait. They stand chest-deep in glacial water, patient and focused. With explosive force, they strike. Salmon flash in their jaws. The river churns with life and death in equal measure. This is not spectacle. It is ancient choreography, a cycle older than memory. Kamchatka holds one of the densest populations of brown bears in the world. Wolves move through the forests in quiet packs. Wolverines cross volcanic ridges, where no human footprints remain. Stellar sea eagles perch on skeletal trees, their white shoulders stark against black plumage. Everything here is large. The landscapes, the predators, the silence. And then there are the volcanoes again. Some rise clean and white above the clouds, snow draped over perfect symmetry. Others are scarred and fractured, their flanks split by past eruptions. Ash plumes sometimes tear into the sky without warning, darkening daylight, grounding aircraft thousands of kilometers away. The ground is young here. Entire valleys were formed within the last few thousand years. Moments in geological time. Lava hardened into jagged fields sharp enough to shred boots. Obsidian fragments glint like black glass. Basalt columns rise in geometric formations, and yet glaciers carve through it all. Ice caps cling to volcanic summits. Meltwater rivers braid across ash plains in electric blue channels. In places, glaciers descend so low they seem misplaced, frozen tongues extending into forests. Fire builds the mountains. Ice sculpts them. The peninsula is caught between elemental forces that refuse to compromise. Winter returns early. Blizzards sweep across the tundra with oceanic force. Winds scream across open valleys at hurricane speeds. Snow buries entire landscapes, erasing landmarks, softening lava fields into smooth white illusions. For months, the sun barely rises. The horizon glows faintly before darkness swallows it again. Survival here is not dramatic. It is constant. Reindeer scrape through snow for lichens. Foxes move like shadows against the drifts. Bears retreat into dens carved into volcanic soil, their heartbeats slowing, their breath steady in frozen chambers while the world above howls. Isolation defines this land. There are no sprawling roads connecting its interior. Much of it is reachable only by helicopter, boat, or days of grueling travel. It is one of the least populated wilderness regions on Earth. Vast sections remain as they have been for millennia. The silence is not empty. It carries the distant rumble of magma chambers, the cracking of ice, the wingbeat of an eagle, the splash of salmon against stone. Stand here long enough, and you feel something unsettling, not fear, but perspective. Humans are temporary visitors. Long before modern maps named these peaks, indigenous peoples moved through these valleys, navigating by river, mountain, and sky. They understood the rhythms of eruption and migration. They knew which valleys warmed first in spring, which rivers carried the strongest salmon runs. Kamchatka is not conquered. It is respected. In summer, fog rolls in from the Pacific, swallowing entire mountain ranges in white vapor. Volcanoes pierce through cloud layers like islands in a celestial ocean. From above, it looks unreal, a chain of perfect cones floating in mist. From below, it feels primordial. Step onto a lava field at dawn. Frost coats the black rock. Steam drifts from unseen fissures. The sky glows pale pink above a symmetrical peak that could erupt tomorrow or sleep for another century. You realize you are standing on a boundary. Between continents, between fire and ice, between stability and transformation. Kamchatka is often described as remote. But remoteness is only distance from human noise. Here, the planet speaks clearly. Every eruption rewrites the land. Every winter resets the canvas. Rivers change course. Valleys flood. Forests burn and regrow. Nothing is static, and yet it feels timeless. Because the forces shaping this peninsula are the same forces that shaped the early Earth. Subduction, uplift, glaciation, erosion, creation through destruction. This is geology in motion. Clouds gather around the summit of a restless volcano. The air vibrates with a low, almost imperceptible hum. Somewhere deep below, molten rock shifts, searching for weakness. The mountain stands serene against the sky, white and symmetrical, betraying nothing. Beauty here is inseparable from threat. That is what makes it unforgettable. Kamchatka does not offer comfort. It offers highway. It offers scales so vast that human ambition shrinks into a... It offers a reminder that Earth is not a backdrop for civilization. It is a living system of fire and ice, endlessly reshaping itself. As the sun sets behind a chain of volcanic silhouettes, their peaks burned gold for a final moment before fading into Arctic twilight. Steam drifts upward in ghostly spirals. The rivers continue their silent flow toward the Pacific. Bears disappear into shadow. Snow begins to fall again, lightly, patiently, covering the newest layer of ash. Tomorrow, the ground may tremble, or it may remain still for another 1,000 years. Here, in the real Kamchatka, the one beyond roads and beyond permanence, the planet is unfinished, and we are only passing through.